In the Diamond District, there is a robbery in progress, and Spider-Man is here to put a stop to it. With his new tendrils, Spider-Man lifts up the armored truck and slams it against the villain, the Bruin. The Bruin falls unconscious and collapses to the floor right next to Devil Spider. Blaze lifts his blaze gun and shoots a wave of flames at the wall crawler, claiming this isn't Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not this strong. Who are you? Blaze asks. I am the Superior Venom. And you, Blaze, are the only true threat in this collection of idiots, though a minor one. Without looking, the Superior Venom uses one of his tendrils to pierce the gas tank on Blaze's blaze gun, and uses the rest to constrict the villain and attempts to squeeze the life out of him. When, all of a sudden, a voice booms from above. Release him! Fight the creature that possesses thee, my friend. We shall do all in our power to secure thy freedom. The Superior Venom's eyes fill with disdain as he watches Thor, Spider-Woman, Black Widow, Wolverine, and Captain America jump from a Quinjet and land right in front of him. The Avengers. Spider-Woman pleads for Spider-Man to stand down, but he refuses. The Superior Venom wants to fight the Avengers, and he can no longer think of a reason not to. Elsewhere, within the safe house of Roderick Kingsley, the original Hobgoblin, Kingsley is receiving a video transmission from Blaze requesting backup and some medical assistance. So call an ambulance, Kingsley spits. I've got bigger problems. I just lost 3 more franchises, and I won't stand for that kind of hit on my rep or my profits. Steeplejack, Tumbler, Ringer, come in. 3 new legacy villains appear on screens scattered around the room. All of you, go out and earn your keep. Now. And remember, there's an imposter out there. You turn over my cut to me only. Understand? Not the mask. This face. Back in the Diamond District, the Superior Venom is keeping the Avengers at bay. He uses a tendril to stab at Spider-Woman, but she is able to use her agility to dodge the attack. Wolverine is able to claw apart another. Black Widow isn't so fortunate. She attempts to distance herself, but one of the tendrils smacks her out of the air. The last tendril almost strikes an unsuspecting Thor, but Captain America dives in and blocks the attack with his shield. The Superior Venom roars out, I have had enough! I've done more for this city than you ever did, and you question me, persecute me. Never again. Thor raises his hammer, Mjolnir, into the air and summons a concentrated lightning storm. The warrior madness afflicts him. I must end this. Bolts of lightning strike down and crack the asphalt beneath them. The superior venom dodges every strike. The other Avengers, on the other hand, do not. Thor then absorbs the storm back into the hammer and lunges forward to attack. You may sense it, but you will never stop it. Oaf, my power grows with each passing moment. I am not your equal. I am your better. The superior venom leaps forward to meet the god of thunder in the air, and both of them exchange blows. The force of the exchange is enough to throw aside any nearby rubble. Afterwards, the superior venom lands on his feet, and the god falls to his knees. Then, Spider-Woman uses her venom blasts to strike the superior venom in his back. Backstabbers, he howls. But I have allies of my own. Spider Island, do you copy? Full strike. Every spiderling, every arachnot, to me. We go to war with the Avengers. On Spider Island, the Spiderlings receive Spider-Man's message and respond by deploying every arachnot they have stored within the hangar. They are apprehensive at the thought of fighting the Avengers of all people. They are the good guys. But that just means, unlike their boss, the Avengers won't try to kill them. Phil Urich, the Goblin Knight, perches on a rafter up above and records the Spiderlings' every move. Goblin Knight to Green Goblin. I got footage of their crisis response protocols. Layout, all we need. I already see weak points we can exploit. Everything good over there? The Goblin King commends his knight and tells Phil, now, he must move on to the next task. As for them, the Goblin King is watching as Menace is treating the former Carly Cooper to a full-fledged goblin makeover. And they are having so much fun.
This is just like when we were little girls playing dress up,
says Menace, formerly known as Lily Hollister. Menace's family adopted Carly when she and Lily were young after Carly's father died. She's also the mother of Harry Osborn's second child.
No, Carly responds. That was someone else. A repressed drone who worked herself half to death in a forensics lab, making sure the monsters got locked up, ignoring the fact we're all monsters.
The Goblin King chuckles.
Why, my dear? I believe you've just rechristened yourself. Let me be the first to say goodbye to Carly Cooper and welcome to our little clan, Monster!
The Goblin King grips onto Monster's face with both hands.
Now, families don't keep secrets. So, let's cut to the big reveal. The spider's real name. Who is he?
Monster brushes the king's hand aside.
If I did know something like that, I wouldn't share it with just any old goblin. Quid pro quo. Who are you?
The Goblin King's attitude shifts dramatically.
Don't let the theatrics fool you. It's me, Norman Osborn.
Monster then brings her hand up to the king's own face.
Easy to say. Prove it. Take off your mask.
The Goblin King begins to chuckle once again.
Aren't we forward? I'd be a fool to unmask for someone who hasn't proved she's traded her NYPD badge for a spot on Team Goblin. Menace, arrange a coming out party for our dear little princess. Make sure she paints the town red.
A wave of spiderlings line up and take fire at Captain America. This is insanity, the captain calls out from behind the cover of his shield. Black Widow jumps out and returns fire as Spider-Woman flanks them from behind. Thor is preoccupied, attempting to take down the first of the approaching arachnauts, and Wolverine is clawing at the Superior Venom. Somehow, the Superior Venom is able to use his tendrils to ground himself as he evades every slash. Captain America, to all available Avengers, we need backup. If you can hear me, Avengers, assemble! Iron Man is the first to answer the call, but Captain America tells him to reroute. He reasons if Spider-Man has been taken over once again by the Venom symbiote, then that means another Avengers in trouble. Corporal Eugene Thompson. Okay, Iron Man responds. I know there's a lot of us now, but I've never heard of him. Captain America takes his time to respond back, dispatching spiderlings as he moves through the madness. I worked with him on a few covert missions. He was Agent Venom and in control of the symbiote. If they've been separated, finding out how and why could be the key to winning this fight. And he also might need help. Iron Man searches and finds there was an emergency 911 call mentioning a Eugene Thompson. The location it came from, Parker Industries. And within Parker Industries, Thompson's vitals are dropping. Thankfully, Sajani Jaffrey has equipment the EMTs don't. Even still, it's just buying time. Without it, Flash is going to die. Dr. Wortham isn't doing much better. Sajani has sent for more of the mesh that contains his energy, but until it gets there, Dr. Wortham is being held together with chewing gum. Maybe I can help, Iron Man says as he arrives. I have a knack for making the best of the materials at hand. At first, Sajani is apprehensive. That is, until Dr. Wortham lets her know Tony Stark is well aware of his cardiac persona. Since the superhuman Civil War, they have had an understanding. Iron Man nods back, then turns his attention to Flash. Captain America briefed me on your situation as well, Corporal Thompson. Dr. Wortham, I can seal the tear in that temporary patch. Then, I'd appreciate your thoughts on an idea I have. And, Sajani, was it? Impressive equipment you've got here. Peter Parker worked at my company for a while. Sharp guy. I wouldn't mind his insight on this too. Sajani tells Iron Man, "Sorry, I already called him. He's busy." At the Diamond District, the Avengers are having trouble fighting against both the Superior Venom and his army of underlings. Spider-Woman and Black Widow continue to dispatch the Spiderlings one by one. Wolverine continues to take a beating. He doesn't have his healing factor anymore, and he's slowly dying from adamantium poisoning. And this battle is getting the best of him. Onlookers from all over New York watch. You gotta be kidding me! Spider-Man's beaten up on Captain America. The nerve of that guy! The Avengers saved us from those aliens! Spidey didn't do squat! That's what I've been saying. He's got all these robots spying on us. He's worse than the NSA, who elected him Big Brother. He's right. One peeped on me in the bath. One woman lifts up her purse and slams it on a spider bot. This is their city, and she says they take it back. Within the Spider Island Command Center, the Spiderlings are losing cameras all over the city. And now they're getting that glitch they've been fighting all along, and they still don't know what's causing it. If they had more than a skeleton crew, they could do something about it. But at the moment, things aren't looking good. Over the city, Monster and Menace have found Hobgoblin's new legacy villains, Steeplejack, Tumbler, and Ringer.
The little bottom feeders.
Menace spits.
You're up, sister. Show them how we do with those foolish enough to work that goblin's territory.
Tumbler and Ringer attempt to run away, calling the women crazy. But flattery will get them nowhere. Steeplejack, however, refuses to run and stands his ground. They're just dames playing games, he comments. He lifts his weapon and shoots Monster in the shoulder. Ooh, you like it rough, huh? She snickers.
So do I.
Monster flies her goblin glider full speed and rams into Steeplejack and slams him into a car. The force of the attack is so strong, it crushes the metal of the car around him.
Aww,
she pouts.
it's not moving. I think I broke it. Just like a fake goblin to use substandard materials.
The Goblin Knight watches it all go down from the top of a building. He waits for Menace and Monster to leave before he makes the call.
Yeah, boss, I got it. Seems legit. She wasn't holding back at all. Maybe even a little over-exuberant. But she's new. That's to be expected. I'll head back as soon as I tie up loose ends.
The Goblin Knight leaps down from the building and lands just in front of Steeplejack. The man begs for his life. Please. Need hospital. The knight chuckles.
It's your lucky day, pal. I can help with that.
Then he draws his sword and plunges it into Steeplejack's chest, burning the villain from the inside out.
There! Now you don't need a hospital anymore. You watching, Roddy? It's your old whipping boy, Phil Urick. I'm in a new crew now. You wanna talk surrender terms? You know where to reach me. Ciao.
In the Diamond District, Spider-Woman and Black Widow have finished off the last of the Superior Venom's men. Look around, Spider-Woman tells him. Your men are all down. Some could be badly hurt. You don't want to do this. The Superior Spider-Man keeps his distance. I know about your pheromones, woman. Okay, but that doesn't mean they can't reach you, calm you down, remind you we're your friends. My friends would not play me like a puppet! The Superior Venom uses his tendrils to launch himself forward, and he lands a powerful left hook across Spider-Woman's jaw, sending her flying back into a mountain of debris. Captain America throws his shield down in order to catch Spider-Woman, and Thor announces that he will restrain himself no longer. He charges in again with his hammer held high, ready to attack. The Superior Venom uses his tendril to sneakily grab onto Captain America's shield. Lout, if you are a god, this is your twilight. The Superior Venom grips the shield with his hand and launches it at the Lord of Lightning, hitting Thor in his throat and stopping the god. And, once again, brings him to his knees. Fools! None of you can match me. Not physically, and certainly not mentally. Oh, I don't know about that. I've got a degree or 6, Tony Stark comments as he slowly approaches the battle. However, for some reason, he isn't wearing his Iron Man armor. This throws off the Superior Venom just long enough for Flash Thompson to sneak up behind him. Flash, wearing the iron armor, punches the Superior Venom in the back of the skull, then unleashes a concentrated blast of arc reactor energy, which successfully weakens the symbiote just long enough for what Flash is going to do next. The Superior Venom couldn't sense Flash sneaking up because his spider sense doesn't react to the symbiote. And Flash, as a longtime host, still has traces of the symbiote within him. Flash attempts to talk down the symbiote. It's all good. You want to come back to me, don't you? He can't force you to stay now. The symbiote morphs and swells around Otto's body. Its muscles become massive. Its teeth begin to gnash. Its tongue begins to whip. And it hisses. You used chemicals, controlled me. Now I am in control. Better, faster, stronger, superior. For a moment, Otto is able to get a hold of himself. Just long enough for him to start clawing the symbiote away from his body. He can see now that he's been a fool. How could he not see? The creature was influencing him, taking over, because it didn't want him to. It affected his perceptions, his judgment, while it slowly asserted its dominance. But the symbiote erred. He is Otto Octavius, and he is more than a match for some creature. And by the strength of his will, he shall cast it out. I shall, he repeats to himself, softly. I can't. Suddenly, the tables begin to turn. The symbiote's grip over Otto starts to weaken. Wait, I think I'm doing it. I'm gaining the upper hand. What Otto isn't aware of is that this isn't him beating the symbiote. All he's doing is forcing Peter's hand. Peter has been holding back, waiting for the right chance. But he can't do it. He can't let Otto pull them even further into darkness. He's Peter Parker. And this is just the beginning. Because he swears he will be free. The symbiote is expelled from Otto, and it writhes on the ground, searching for an escape or a new host. Otto thinks to himself that it was nearly too late. For anyone else, it would have been. Who but he possesses the iron will to throw off such a monster? Peter lets out a sigh of relief. It's good, Otto thinks, that he did this all on his own. For now, at least. It's back to keeping a low profile. Meanwhile, Flash Thompson exits the Iron Man armor and reaches back out to the symbiote a second time. Come here. It's okay. You were confused. Come home. We need each other. We belong together. As Agent Venom. Everything's going to be alright. Otto takes stock of his surroundings. Good heavens, he thinks. Look at this chaos. How will I ever... Wait. As ever, in crisis there is opportunity. He turns to the group of Avengers standing behind him. My friends! How can I ever repay you? At last, after all these months, I'm myself again. Months? Agent Venom asks. It's only been a few. Ah, but it hasn't. When we last met, I was infected by microscopic fragments of the symbiote. You mean that time? Yes, exactly. It hid within me, replicating, slowly taking control. You may have observed me acting strangely. Now you know why. But, thanks to you, my nightmare is over. Everything is as it should be. All is right in the world. Elsewhere, within the Goblin Underground, the Goblin King gathers the Goblin Knight, Menace, and Monster, so they can be present when he makes the call to their enemy. Roderick Kingsley appears on the screen. Osborn, is that you?
Hello, Roddy. Still sponging off the work of your betters, I see.
You're one to talk. I get it now. You've been impersonating me, ripping off my men.
Consider it a gauntlet thrown, a challenge. If you wish to accept, name the place. We'll sort it out like men. Of course, You could always walk away.
Not on your life. I've spent too long building my empire to give it up to a raving lunatic like you.
Lovely! It's official then. Let the war of the goblins begin!
Later that night, at the office of NYPD Captain Yuri Watanabe, Aunt May and Uncle Jay are demanding that Yuri hand over Mary Jane Watson at once. If not, the next call Jay will make will be to his son, Jonah, the mayor of New York. Yuri tells Jay and May that Mary Jane is free to go, but she will be keeping a close eye on both Mary Jane and Peter Parker moving forward, because if they won't help her find out what happened to Carly Cooper, Yuri can only assume it's because they have something to hide. Mary Jane is released, but even still, she doesn't answer any of the questions May or Jay ask either. She just hops into a cab and tells the two that she will answer everything in full later. She just can't right now. A little while after, Mary Jane arrives at Peter's apartment. Bought myself some time, but I have to call her soon. Oh, Peter, what am I going to tell your aunt? Tell her everything's fine. Otto turns on the TV, and a news clip from earlier that day appears on the screen. Look, it's all over the news. The symbiote was removed from me. I realize I've been acting strangely, and I can't apologize enough if I've caused you pain. But at least now you know why. Mary Jane, can you forgive me for putting you through that? Mary Jane leans in and hugs Otto. Yes, I mean, that was terrifying, but it explains a lot. The funny thing is, until recently, no matter how weird you acted, I always felt that, deep down, you were still you. And I feel it again. You're back. At Avengers Tower, the heroes are reviewing the battle with Spider-Man. Iron Man asks, "So, did anyone buy that line of bull from Spider-Man? Because I sure didn't." Flash explains that microscopic pieces of symbiote could make sense, theoretically, but he thinks he'd know if it happened. He has a mental link with the symbiote, and he hates to do it, but Flash attempts to access the alien creature's memories of Spider-Man. It doesn't work. Flash just gets a cloud of static preventing him from seeing anything. Captain America walks up and shakes Flash's hand. "We'll look into it, but given their history, I think it's best to keep your symbiote far away from Spider-Man. I'll keep you informed. You're a good soldier, Flash, and a good man." Wolverine takes a moment to tell Iron Man he believes Spider-Man is the same person he's always been. He smells the same, his voice is the same, even his heartbeat. Spider-Woman adds that the tests they ran on Spider-Man before said the same thing. There are no traces of dark magic. He's not a space phantom or a Skrull. Iron Man turns on his computer. "No offense, but I designed most of this equipment. I know it better than anyone. I'd like to take a look at the readings. Maybe I'll see something you didn't. Well, what do you know? It's been erased. And so have the security camera feeds from that day. Except the one only I know about. Now, let's see who did this. A feed from the camera hidden in the computer keyboard appears on the screen, showing none other than Spider-Man. That does it, Captain America barks. Time to bring in Spider-Man.